Hello everyone, welcome back. It's mid-October and today we're going to harvest our Northern Spy apples. This tree is loaded. This is the 6th year in the ground. It's actually the first year it's ever fruited. So quite a debut it made. I mean, this is pretty awesome. I'm really excited because Northern Spy apples are fantastic. We'll talk about them as we go through the video. This netting is just to keep the deer away. I put it up like a month ago because this isn't in our fenced-in area, so it's out in the front yard sort of on its own. So we'll pick these and see what we get, and then we'll talk about them. So here's what we got for our harvest. All the most red ones are in the bottom of the basket. The green ones, where the sun doesn't hit them, they're going to be green. Where the sun does hit them, they'll turn red. So really happy with this. I mean, I can't believe how many apples we got. This is just one tree, 2 full bushels. So these are the 18-inch wide by 12-inch tall bushel baskets. So it's a full bushel. So there's 2 of them here. Really good quality fruit overall. I mean, every once in a while you get a little, like that spot. I'll just chop that out and use it in a pie or a crisp or something. But overall, really nice quality fruit, and we don't spray a ton. I spray mostly pesticide. I don't really spray fungicide much. This is why we have sooty blotch on these, that black stuff. As I showed in my last video, you just run it underwater, wipe it with a towel, that comes right off. So I'd rather do that than spray fungicide. I find fungicides to be pretty nasty, a lot of them. Now you can't get around spraying for bugs. If you don't spray for bugs, you're going to have apples that are pretty much just full of worms and nasty spots. But these Calvel Blanc, like right there, that's just sooty blotch. That'll wipe right off all that black stuff. So yeah, I look at it as a trade-off. That's totally cosmetic. You just towel, little water, and that'll shine right up and it'll look like a totally different apple. It's kind of amazing, actually. So here's an example. These are the 3 Northern Spies that I just used in that video that I made about sooty blotch, and just wipe it right off, shine them up. So I thought we'd cut them up, talk a little bit about the Northern Spy, some of its characteristics. One thing is, because it flowers so late, it kind of avoids a lot of the late frost. So if you're in an area where you're always getting late frost, this is a great apple to grow, because we had that late freeze this year, but by the time this tree got around to flowering, it was late May and the freeze had already happened. So it wasn't affected. Look at all that juice in there. It's a really nice apple. So Northern Spy, I would say it's a good middle-of-the-road apple. And I don't mean that like in a bad way. It doesn't mean it's plain or boring or anything. It just, I think, means that it has a little bit of everything. It's got a nice crunch to it. It's got a good refreshing flavor, enough sweetness to keep you coming back, but enough tartness to make it crisp and refreshing. It's the kind of apple you take a bite and then you take it, you just want another. It has you coming back for more. And so, like those Calvel Blanc that I showed earlier in the video, those are like tooth-melting acidity, like so intense they're hard to eat raw. They're more of a cooking apple or a cider apple. But this one you can eat just straight up. You can cook. You can make pies. It's fantastic in pies. That's what most people think of it as, like a pie apple. But it's got more sweetness than like a lot more sweetness than a Granny Smith or something like that. And so it's more pleasant to eat, just as a snack as well, or as a dessert apple. It also makes a great cider, so I bought one of those old-fashioned cider presses, and I'm going to put that together, and we'll make a video when we press probably like a bushel worth of these apples. It's because we have so many, and I've always wanted to try to make cider, so that's another thing that it's good for. So cider, baking, eating, it's pretty much good for everything. And you won't be disappointed. It's the fact that it flowers late, you're going to have a fairly reliable crop. I guess sometimes it can be a little biennial, so that's, but that's can be any apple, so most apples that can happen to. But overall, I mean, Northern Spy, it's a fun apple, comes from New York State, right down the road, which I love, from the 1800s, and just a nice all-around, tasty, refreshing apple.